The fashoda incident was a significant event in the late 19th century that nearly resulted in a war between Great Britain and France over control of the Sudan region in Africa. It was a tense standoff that lasted several months, but ultimately resulted in a diplomatic solution that preserved peace between the two European powers. The fashoda incident occurred in 1898 when a French expedition, led by Captain Jean-Baptiste Marchand, arrived at the town of Fashoda in present-day South Sudan. The expedition's goal was to establish a French presence in the region and secure control of the Sudanese territory for France. However, at the same time, the British were expanding their sphere of influence from Egypt southward along the Nile River. The British, under the leadership of General Herbert Kitchener, had already established control over the Sudanese capital, Khartoum, and were moving southward towards Fashoda. When Marchand's expedition arrived at Fashoda, they encountered a small detachment of British soldiers who were already there. Both the French and British claimed the right to control the region, and tensions quickly escalated between the two sides. For several months, both sides were on high alert, and the situation was tense. The possibility of a full-blown war between the two European powers loomed large. However, the situation was resolved diplomatically when both sides agreed to submit the dispute to arbitration. The French ultimately withdrew from the area, and the British were allowed to continue their expansion southward along the Nile River. The fashoda incident had far-reaching consequences for both France and Britain. For France, it was a humiliating defeat that weakened the country's position in Africa and forced the French to focus their attention on other regions. For Britain, it was a major victory that solidified its position in Africa and allowed it to continue its imperial expansion. The fashoda incident also had implications beyond Africa. It demonstrated the dangers of imperial expansion and the potential for conflict between European powers over control of resources and territories. The incident was a precursor to the geopolitical tensions that would eventually lead to World War I. In conclusion, the fashoda incident was a significant event in the history of European imperialism and the African continent. The incident had far-reaching consequences that would shape the course of European history in the years to come.